Hi, welcome back. In this video, we're going to take a look at deploying a web application to our cluster, scaling our cluster up and down, and confirming that the load balancing is working the way we would expect. This follows on straight from the creating a domain video. If you haven't watched that one yet, you might like to go back and watch that first. So here is my WebLogic console. I'm using the domain we just created, domain 2. And I have a simple web application that just prints out the managed server name and the address. So let's go ahead and deploy that to our domain. I'm going to upload my WAR file. Which is right here. So I'm going to install this as an application, and I'm going to target it to my cluster, all servers in the cluster. And I'll activate the changes. And let me start up the web application. Okay, let's check our load balancer port again. Okay, so here is our load balancer. Okay, so it's 30306. So let's go to 30306, test the web app. And you see it's printed out the name of the managed server and the IP address. And if we reload that, usually in the browser, it's going to have a cookie bring it back to the same server, but if you reload it enough, eventually you probably will hit another server. What is slightly more reliable is to call it from curl, which will not have any of the affinity with the cookie, and we'll see that it actually alternates between server 1, server 2, server 1, server 2, which is what we would expect. So let's now scale up that cluster and add another managed server and see what happens. So we can do this a few ways. In this video, I'm just going to edit the domain using Kubernetes. And in subsequent videos, you'll see how we can do scaling with WLDF and also from Prometheus. But for now, I'm just going to do it a simple way. So I'm going to edit my domain. And I'm going to go down to the replicas setting right here for this cluster, cluster 1, and I'm going to change this to 3. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and save this. And we should see, if we get a list of pods, that managed server 3 will be starting up. So you can see it's creating the container now. If we wait a little while, it'll actually start up. Okay, it's running now, but not ready. Not quite there yet. A little bit further to go. Okay, now it's running. And let's take a look at our ingress. Domain 2 cluster 1. Okay, and you see that it's been updated now and it has all 3 managed servers. So if I repeat the test from curl, you see managed server 2, managed server 3, managed server 1, 2, 3, so much as we would expect. Okay, so let's scale the cluster back down again. So I'm going to get out the domain, domain 2 in namespace domain 2. And I'll change it back to 2. If we take a look now, we should see that Kubernetes is shutting down managed server 3. So see there, it's terminating. Still shutting down. We have a shutdown hook configured, so it gives the managed server a chance to do a graceful shutdown before Kubernetes actually kills the pod. Okay, so now we see it's not ready, and pretty soon it will disappear from the list here. Okay, it's gone. So let's take a look at our ingress again. And domain 2 cluster 1, and the namespace domain 2. And you'll see that it's gone back to just 2 managed servers. And if we use curl again to hit the web app, you'll see managed server 1, 2, 1, 2. So load balancing working pretty much as we would expect it to do. The operator actually takes the managed server out of the ingress before it starts the shutdown process to make sure that requests don't get routed to a server that's no longer able to serve them. And it actually waits for the server to come all the way up and say that it is not only running but ready before it adds it back into the ingress. And we also use the Ready app for the readiness determination. So it is possible to call the Ready app APIs from your own web apps to register them to be considered as when WebLogic is deciding whether the server is actually ready or not. That's covered in the documentation if you want to see how to do that. So that covers using the admin console to deploy web application and scaling up and down with the domain custom resource and verifying the load balancing.